Everyday mystery. We see it daily, but don't know why it's an S with lines. You've typed it thousands of times, seen it on price tags, bank statements, and your phone screen. But have you ever stopped and wondered why the symbol for money looks the way it does? Why an S? Why the lines through it? And why does nobody seem to know the answer? The truth is buried in 3 centuries of history, involving Spanish sailors, American colonists, and handwritten ledgers that changed the world. And the story isn't what you think. Let's go back to the 1700s. America doesn't have its own currency yet. The colonies are flooded with Spanish silver coins called pesos, also known as pieces of 8. These coins are everywhere, the dominant currency of trade across the Americas. And when merchants wrote about these coins in their ledgers, they didn't write out the full word. They used an abbreviation. They wrote PS. P for peso, S for the plural. Simple, efficient, practical. But here's where it gets interesting. Imagine you're a merchant in colonial Boston writing hundreds of transactions a day. Your hand is cramped, your quill is wearing down, and you're in a hurry. You start taking shortcuts. The P and the S begin to overlap. The curves of the P start wrapping around the S. Eventually, the loop of the P fades away entirely, leaving just the vertical lines pressed against the S. And just like that, the dollar sign is born. But wait, if it came from the Spanish peso, why do we call it the dollar sign? Here's the twist. The word dollar doesn't come from America either. It comes from a silver coin minted in Bohemia in the 1500s called the thaler. The name traveled across Europe, morphed into different versions, daler, dalder, and eventually dollar. When America finally created its own currency in 1792, they chose the name dollar because it was already familiar to people. But the symbol? That stayed the same. The mark that came from the peso, the shorthand that merchants had been using for decades, became the official symbol of the new American dollar. Now you might be thinking, what about that myth you've heard? The one where the dollar sign comes from the U and S of United States, stacked on top of each other, with the U losing its bottom curve? Great story. Completely false. That theory didn't appear until the late 1800s, long after the dollar sign was already in use. It's a classic case of reverse engineering, people trying to create meaning where coincidence existed. The truth is far messier and far more human. The dollar sign wasn't designed in a patriotic moment of national pride. It evolved from tired hands, rushed writing, and the practical needs of trade. But here's something you probably didn't know. Some dollar signs have 1 line, some have 2. Why? The answer is simpler than you'd expect. It's just stylistic preference. The original handwritten versions often had 2 lines, because the P and PS had 2 vertical strokes. As printing technology developed, some typesetters kept both lines. Others simplified it to 1 because it was easier to carve into metal type. There's no official version. Both are correct. Both are used. It all depends on the font, the era, and the printer who made the choice. And if you think about it, that's kind of perfect. The dollar sign didn't come from a government decree or a committee decision. It came from real people solving real problems. And it kept evolving based on whoever was using it. Think about how wild that is. A symbol that now represents trillions of dollars in global wealth started as scribbles in a ledger book. It crossed borders, survived revolutions, and became so universal that you don't even need to speak English to understand what it means. Every language, every country, every market on earth recognizes that S with the lines through it, and yet most people have no idea where it came from. That's the strange power of symbols. They become invisible the moment they become useful. We stop questioning them. We stop seeing them. They blend into the background of our lives, quietly shaping how we think, how we trade, and how we value the world around us. The next time you see a dollar sign, remember it's not just a symbol. It's a fossil, a tiny piece of history compressed into 2 lines and a curve, carrying the weight of empires, merchants, and centuries of human exchange. Subscribe for more hidden history behind everyday things.